Okay, we are streaming live on Facebook and I've started recording the call, but if it's okay, we'll just give it a couple more minutes. I know we had around 8 people registered, so we're hoping to see a few more. Hey, Jamie, you've got a new virtual background.
Yeah. You didn't like my Tiger King one, so you know.
I liked it. It might be a little distracting, but it's fun. Okay. Okay, I know we have a few people joining on Facebook Live. Maybe just give it one more minute if anyone else is gonna log in. All right. Well, we have a few people on the call, and we still have a few more people joining in. But just to be aware of time, we'll just go ahead and get started. So, my name is Dia Ghosh, and I'm with the Ada Jobs Foundation, and we are so excited for everyone who's joining us today from Zoom and from Facebook Live. Thanks for joining the first side hustle night meetup. And Ada Jobs is very excited to present this event. Jim Eldridge will talk to us a little bit more about this event, I just wanted to welcome you all and say that this is also Global Entrepreneurship Week. So we are excited to kind of talk about everything that's entrepreneurial. And this is an international movement where it's a celebration for entrepreneurs. So Ada is officially participating this year, and we have 2 events that are lined up as official GEW events. So again, thanks all for joining. We'll be hearing from some awesome speakers today and really kind of spur a discussion of what is side hustling? How do you manage a side business while having a full-time job, and just kind of have discussion along those lines. So with that, Jim, would you like to kick us off a little bit today?
Sure. So Dia, I think, did a really good job of introducing this, and it looks like we have a lot of friendly faces on the Zoom meeting and hopefully more on Facebook. So this really came out of a discussion that we had about what it was like we knew friends in other cities and other places that were having a side hustle from your day job was the norm, right? In fact, I actually had a group of friends in Philadelphia that started like a side hustle, like breakfast, where like every week or every month they would go and talk about like their different hustles, right? And what we realized is that a lot of the culture around working in technology, working in coding, things like that, really encouraged people to have the self-initiative to go out and learn their own skills and try their own things and develop things kind of on the side. And we noted that even Google had kind of baked in a culture where they would allow their employees so many hours a year to work on whatever project they wanted, which resulted in all sorts of cool projects and cool things that are now a part of Google's main business. I want to say, I can't remember exactly which technologies were included in that, but I want to say something like Gmail was just started as like an employee side project or something like that, right? So we think this has enormous potential to build an entrepreneurial culture, and we think this has enormous potential to kind of shift the way people think about, work, right? And we think that people who are entrepreneurial are also very good employees of their day jobs. We think that people who are entrepreneurial are very good at having a lot of initiative and having a lot of talent and, moving things forward. And so we think, by encouraging people to highlight their side hustles, which we'll hear about tonight, and encouraging people to work um, really hard at things that they're passionate about and feel, strongly about. These are the kinds of people we want in our community. These are the kinds of people we want to highlight at our businesses. And these are the kinds of people that are really building, I think, a strong civic culture, a strong business culture, and a strong entrepreneurial culture in Ada. So I know we'll get into some of the technicalities in a minute, but we really appreciate everyone tuning in, and we really appreciate um, the two hustles we're going to feature in this session tonight. So Dia, I'll hand it back to you.
Thank you, Jen. That was awesome to kind of kick us off about what we are going to expect today. So again, like we mentioned, we'll have two speaker presentations to kick us off, and then we will kind of go into a more discussion, really a friendly chat to hear about why you guys are attending today, and talk about maybe some about your side hustles and go into Q&A. So with that, I'm super excited to introduce our first speaker. Trevor Sutton is one of the co-founders of the Locals Entertainment, along with Bethany Seifert. Trevor will be speaking with us today. And the Locals Entertainment is, they provide specialized entertainment for many types of events, including weddings, corporate events, smaller gatherings, such as holidays and birthday parties. So with that, Trevor, the floor is yours.
All right, thank you, Dia. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen if that's all right. We'll give it a shot anyway. All right, hopefully you can all see this. I'm going to keep it in this presentation mode here, so hopefully that'll work out for us. But yeah, thanks for joining, and thanks for having this event, Dia and Ada Jobs Foundation. I appreciate you guys and all the work you do, and for the opportunity to highlight my business for this evening. So again, my name's Trevor Sutton, co-founder of the Locals Entertainment, and my partner in crime isn't able to join me today. That's Bethany Seifert. And so we both do have full-time jobs. I work for Citizens Bank of Ada, and she works for Gateway Mortgage. So a lot of people get a chuckle out of that, usually, when they find out we have a business together. But she's a good friend of mine. So we both have full-time jobs, and that is the whole idea behind this virtual event, obviously the side hustle or the side business. The Locals Entertainment really has been a fun venture for both of us, but really something we've both been a part of in some respect for a long time, just not always making money off of it. So I'll go to this next slide here, or I'll attempt to. My computer's been having a little trouble. All right, so this is us right here. So I want to go into a little bit of the background, how we started this. So my partner, Bethany, previously worked at Starscape for a long time coordinating events. Yeah, I wish she could be on the call to kind of provide more details on that and her experience, her point of view. But nonetheless, she's had some experience with high energy parties and different settings and venues, birthday parties, things of that nature. And we both had helped with some of our friends' events, mostly including weddings. We both found ourselves being called upon to take care of some of the details here and there of different events over time because of our talents or knack for being a host, making sure everyone is having a good time, whatever respect that looks like, whatever event it is. So by coincidence, not really, but we found ourselves working for a wedding for some mutual friends of ours here in Ada. Bethany happened to be taking care of the food, and I was in charge of the music for that event. And so we both had a lot of conversations at this event, back and forth, kind of jokingly talking about forming a business out of this. And by the way, I never thought about creating a business in my lifetime. And entrepreneurship was never a passion, never a desire for me. I was an accounting major. So just to get that out there. But that day, my mind took off with excitement at creating a business from something I actually enjoyed. And really going forward with this. So it made sense at the time, and we were already doing all of these things. So why not make some money doing them, was our thought. So not only that, but this was really a deeper passion for creating an environment for people to enjoy, right? That's something we both had a passion for, and also had some skills that allowed to fill multiple roles and creating that kind of environment, whether it be the perfect playlist for an event to keep everybody engaged and excited, coordinating the details, not knowing music and knowing the crowd. So it's the little things that can turn into big things. And we realized there are so many other things that we could do with this. So we were talking about what we would name our business, and the locals just came to mind right off the bat to me. And that may seem like a pretty broad or vague thing. So let me go into a little detail on what that means for me, at least. The idea behind the locals being that we're those people you can trust for whatever event you're hosting. We're family friendly. We want to provide comfort for whatever your event is, so that you don't have the pressure of being the host any longer, but you have someone to take care of those details and keep the event flowing. And we love working with people. We're in the people business. And that family friendly aspect, also we have the ability to provide edited music and content, censoring cuss words and things like that. So that provides a lot of value for people. And we also happen to support local. So we truly are about Ada. We love Ada, want to provide a service for this community. So we've partnered with Ada Main Street and other businesses recently. And the name, the locals, it just simply rolls off the tongue, right? Are you planning an event? Have you called the locals? All right, you gotta meet these people. So a large piece of the entertainment aspect, that it's designed for you. That's another reason we called it the locals. We're truly the company that comes in and takes care of your needs, your specific crowd, your specific event, with the best means of entertainment for that event. So as you can imagine, it's really pretty serious business when it comes to music. And it's tough to create an environment that's conducive to all people at all times. But as much as it depends on us, we want to create that environment where everybody can enjoy and take something away from it and be engaged with the event. So that's the general aim of the business. Now, what we determined over time is that entertainment is very vital for any event. And a large part of that is the music aspect, which we take care of. So guests want to have fun at any event, and you want guests to stay engaged with the event and what's going on. And that makes them want to stay. It maybe makes them want to come back to your event. And people feel more comfort to interact with one another, and energy is increased for the room. The mood becomes positive, as opposed to dry and boring. So like the song, you don't know what you got till it's gone, right? So you can probably think of an event you've been to where there was no music, there was nothing additional going on, and it kind of died quickly, right? Well, that's what we found happens if you don't have some of these vital pieces we're talking about in our business. So the event flow is a huge thing. Every event needs to have a good flow and someone to help fill those gaps. And so we can be that business for people. And it makes the host look good, makes them look even better. It's not really about us. We're not necessarily the host, but we're making whoever is hosting the event look better. So the design is not so much for us to be seen and heard, but to make those who hired us look better. Whether it's a company event or a wedding or any other celebration, a birthday party, we want to make everyone feel comfortable and make the overall event successful. So it's amazing to see how that works out as we go along. And I wanted to show you some pictures kind of a wedding we did for a couple of my best friends. So this kind of captures a few things I want you to notice. So the timing of things is pretty critical to the event and the way it flows. and you don't want any lull to happen in that. So here are some examples and pictures from this wedding. Notice, first of all, the fireworks. That's pretty eye-catching. So yes, I actually set off fireworks. I love doing that. And so this was for the send-off for the couple. Obviously, timing was very important for that. And when they were walking out, it had to be blown up just right. And if you don't know, fireworks are pretty tricky, if you didn't know that. So, and these went off at just the right time. So it was great. It was a good addition for that event. Line dances, knowing what songs to play at what time. Are people on a roll on the dance floor? Are they still having a good time? Do they want to keep going? And you've got to read the crowd and keep that going. So, and then on the couples dances, that first dance, for using the wedding as an example, providing for a more intimate setting and doing that transition just perfectly. It's definitely an art form. And again, people don't realize it until it's gone. So every couple has that special song that they want played at just the right time. And so to be flawlessly incorporated, usually it's the first dance, and it's a high pressure moment. Maybe not always for the couple, but for the DJ, it's a high pressure moment, and it has to be perfect. So the same thing with a ceremony. You'll get some sweaty fingers if you're a DJ and working a ceremony and getting that music going. So this is a moment that's so anticipated and planned out, and the music just brings it all together. Again, this is just one aspect of what we do. But so using the wedding as an example, this stretches to many types of events, but transition and timing, execution, taking the pressure off of the host, not having to worry about what's next for the most part, and we keep the event moving for them. And so that's what we have to provide, and that's really the need for any kind of event. And so this is kind of what we offer. Our typical service is DJing, and it's at $150 an hour, just to give you an idea of how that works. We negotiate on different things. Again, like I've done fireworks, we've done lighting, and things of that nature. So depends on the area, of course, and laws and things like that. But for events, we've done weddings, we've done corporate parties. We did the Realtors Banquet last year, and that was exciting. And we're willing to do just about anything within reason. We love people, and we love gatherings. So, which is really difficult right now, but that's what we're here for. So the kind of the keys to what we look forward to and how we want to maintain this business is relationships. Again, people are comfortable with people that they know, that they can trust and rely on. We have a decent network of local people and businesses to provide for their events. Not to mention, this was the primary reason for our startup, was having those relationships. And we've both had many single friends. We're younger individuals, so those friends have ended up engaged and needing a DJ. We still have single friends out there that are waiting to get married someday. And so we want to be able to take care of their needs. So there is some opportunity there, but relationships are very important. And that goes with any business. But partnerships with vendors as well, and event venue owners, that's huge. So also our pricing and rates, we've looked at other DJs and what they offer. Many people hire DJs from larger cities, and it costs quite a bit. And especially when you consider also that the DJ comes in and does their own thing, and they don't provide the needs for the event oftentimes. And you've heard or seen some of that in action. So we have a good price point in comparison and make sure the event has what it needs for the crowd and people involved. And also reliability, showing up early, asking the right questions beforehand, and taking that pressure off of people so that on the day of the event, they're not having to worry about it. It also involves wearing many hats. The last wedding I did, I was moving chairs, bringing in pizzas, giving advice where I could, asking everywhere how I could help. So that's the nice part about having two people in this business, is it's a perfect combination. And how we work together on that. So it's critical for our businesses to have a couple of people working on this stuff. So reliability also goes with, going above and beyond the expectations for us. So we want to be those people that can wear many hats and do what needs to be done to make it successful. And in one sense, we've become wedding planners because of that, because we've seen so many and we just know a lot about it. So anyway, this is a part-time business with potential to go further. We're here primarily to take care of those who are right in front of us with a need for entertainment. Those businesses around us, we're local people. But that's our business in a nutshell. And I think that's all I have for you today. I appreciate you listening.
Thank you, Trevor. That was a really good description of how you got started and what your business is about. And I'm sure all the others have several questions, but I kind of wanted to kick it off with one question: is that at what point did you realize that this was more than just something you're good at and it's a passion? Like, how did you know this is something you can actually make a business of, and also you find a partner in Bethany to move forward with it?
Yeah, so the way it worked before, again, it started at that one wedding where we just randomly connected, didn't know we were going to be working the same wedding, even though they were our friends. And, we did it on a volunteer basis. And that had happened so much that we realized we could at least make something off of it. And again, take it outside of our network of friends. And it's something we just got really excited about. And it just made sense for us. And if I'm not going to stop doing it no matter what, but might as well make money off of it, as I said. So, because it's not a sustainable way to live life, but especially being a side hustle, working full-time jobs, and eventually starting a family of my own, Lord willing, and Bethany the same. So. We're always trying to balance, right? Work and life, and it's never going to be perfect, but this is something we're passionate about, at least.
Absolutely, that's great. Guys, we are a pretty small group, so please feel free to unmute and shout off your answer or put it in the chat, either way.
I have a question, Trevor.
Okay.
All right, it's more so obviously Trevor and I work together. For those of you who do not know, I'm Marissa Tucker with Ada Main Street, and he's on our board. So we've developed quite a relationship, a working relationship, and I see that you guys donate a lot of your time. Would you say that you're currently just working towards building a brand within the community?
I would say that's very much the stage we're in right now. We've been in operation just over a year, and again, it's been minimal this year with COVID-19, of course, but yeah, just over a year. We're definitely building. We're always trying to fine tune those things that we do well. We're just trying to get a little bit better at those things. And again, primarily what we've done is weddings, but yeah, we're building a brand in the community, wanting to get more involved with businesses here because, again, we're truly local people. So that's a great way to put that.
Maybe as a follow-up to that question, so what tips do you have for managing time? So as Marissa mentioned, you are on the Ada Main Street board, and I'm sure you're on other boards, and you have a full-time job, and you're doing a side business. What's the key there?
Just find a way to make more time. I think I have 30 hours in a day. So no, I really don't have an answer for that. I just do what I reasonably can. Also try to find time to rest though. And that's very necessary for me. And so I have my quiet time in the mornings, and I do that because I know I'm not going to have an evening usually. And I'm just built to where I love being involved with people. And some people may not be that way and adept to that, but I just enjoy it that much. And I enjoy the community I'm in that much and building those relationships. So until things change, again, when I have a family of my own, the time management will be a little more critical at that point. But I'm a single man. I can kind of do this right now. So also why it made sense.
Any other questions from the group, either about Trevor's business or about how, he's kind of managing this side hustle thing? Marissa mentioned Ada Main Street is very happy to have you. I agree with that. That's awesome.
Oh, also, Trevor has time because Trevor doesn't eat. I've not seen him eat a meal in, I think, like 3 years that I've been working with him.
I've got sustenance right here. All right. A little marketing there for you. All right.
Trevor, I've got a question about, maybe a little bit beyond this, but does this experience make you want to start another business down the road? I mean, going through this, would you say, oh, I could totally do another business, or, oh, I definitely want to see where this goes?
Possibly. I think it's that I know the option is there if I need it to. I don't envision doing any more. I think it's just a perfect niche to be able to provide for the local community. And if people come in and drive us out, that's okay. We're just taking care of a need that's there now on a smaller scale, and hopefully something that people are finding value in as well and not getting from other people. But again, I don't envision going any further. And if you don't know, I did start another business. I have a local band as well, conflict of interest. So which actually started the same exact time because it was something I was already doing and that I'm passionate about. So yeah, I can't imagine doing any more. So
fair enough.
It's always just changing priorities.
All right. Well, I don't see any other questions in the chat, but I'm sure Trevor is available for questions even after our next speaker. So, but Trevor, thank you so much for that presentation. It was great learning more about your business and some of the tips and tricks you shared with us. So can we please have a round of applause for Trevor? Thank you. Okay, well, up next, we have another super exciting business and that some of my friends and colleagues, they've started, and I am so excited that Morgan and Allison, you were able to join us today. So Morgan and Allison are co-founders of Oklahoma Blondies. They are two sisters just creating joy through handmade jewelry, and they specialize in polymer clay earrings. So with that, Allison and Morgan, thanks for joining, and I'll let you get the floor.
Awesome. Yes. Thank you for having us. We're so excited. So I'm Morgan and this is Allison. And so kind of introduce ourselves. I work at Citizens Bank with Trevor, actually, and I've been there for 3 years. I'm a graduate of ECU and I'm in marketing. I handle all the marketing for Citizens Bank.
I'm a sophomore at East Central University, and I'm also a part-time secretary at Yorga Pediatrics. So and I'm studying in business and entrepreneurship. So
Allison is also an active member of the Chi sorority. And so we've kind of a lot going on our plates, but in all of that, we also have our little side hustle, Oklahoma Blondies. So we started in August, actually, we officially launched, but Allison, because of COVID, actually was sent home back to Oklahoma City back with our parents because all of our school went virtual. And so she started learning about polymer clay and kind of all of the conditioning and all the things that go into it. We knew that we wanted to start a little side hustle, start a small business to kind of help with rent. Honestly, we're roommates. And so, just do something small. And we're both really creative people. And so we knew it wanted to be something with our hands, something that we could create. And so that's kind of how the polymer clay earrings came about.
So we're obviously not the first polymer clay earring people. We've actually just kind of been watching artists over time, but we would come home from work, come home from school, and think, well, there's something else we could be doing. I mean, we're very interested in business. We're like, there's so much more we felt like we could have been doing. Maybe we should start a side hustle. And honestly, there's many ways where COVID was not a blessing. But in one way it was that I was able to spend so much time sitting home, late nights, working with clay, practicing, learning a way to master it so that we were able to start selling earrings. And then I just learned a ton. And then when me and Morgan came back together in Ada, and over the summer, I started kind of teaching Morgan my ways. Morgan started researching her own, finding new ways to teach me, and we kind of just worked that together. But we just always knew we really wanted to start something, and we always wanted Oklahoma Blondies to be our brand. Just a little background on that. Our grandmother, actually, when she was single and younger, she would travel around, and her CB radio handle was Oklahoma Blondie. And for her being probably the most favorited human to ever exist, we thought, well, we probably want to base something on her to keep her with us. And what's the chances we're both blonde? So we decided to keep that with us. And even if we get out of the earring business and decide we want to go off and maybe open our own shop, boutique, online shop, whatever we want to create, we hope to still hold Oklahoma Blondies with us.
So for us, it's less, right now it's about Polymer Clay earrings, but it's more about the brand that we can create from that. Like I said, we're both creative people, and we really like home decor, and we're artsy. Allison's more artistic than I am, but it just kind of all works. And so we're really kind of just really trying to build a brand and something that can be sustainable long-term. Right now we want to keep it a side hustle, which is kind of difficult to do sometimes. So we currently sell our earrings on Etsy, and actually last Friday we hit 100 sales on Etsy. So we're pretty excited about that. And so it's kind of difficult to keep it a side hustle because we have a lot of orders coming in. We have a lot of people asking questions, will you do this style? Will you do that style? And so we have to be really cognizant to limit ourselves and know that, this is a side hustle. We can only dedicate so much time to it and not overextend ourselves, because at the end of the day, we still want to be able to provide a solid product that we're proud of, and be able to turn around a product in a quick amount of time and just be able to provide for our customers. And so that's one way. That's kind of a balancing act on our end. Lots of communication between both of us and our customers, because sometimes I'll be really gung-ho because I don't have maybe a lot going on, but then Allison has a lot going on that week. So we just have to really be good at communicating with each other about our schedules and not overcommit ourselves. And so kind of just a little bit of a background. So Polymer Clay, this is kind of what it looks like. We'll show you guys. So it's just these little packages.
And you can buy at Hobby Lobby. So
Yes.
They're pretty just little packages of clay. There's no way to buy them in bulk. So
Exactly.
that's as big as the amount it gets. Luckily, supplies costs when it comes to clay is not expensive, but to really master the skill, like if you YouTube, DIY, do it yourself, clay earrings, you can easily find a very easy tutorial. But to master it and make it look like a professional, well-done product, we've spent quite a bit of money on tools, on research, on we can take classes towards learning more from other polymer clay artists, and really just time. I mean, even if we wanted to go full-time with this, we will never be able to lower the time it takes to make clay earrings, because that really is it. When people ask us what is your prices? And it's like, well, our prices are lower because supply costs may be low, but when it comes to time, I mean, we can spend up to 6 hours on just 5 pairs of earrings. So it's definitely very time consuming, but that's also what makes it enjoyable. I go to school every day, and then I work in a doctor's office where I don't have any interest in the medical field. So I get really tired and exhausted in the day, that it's really nice to come home and work on something I'm truly interested in. So, and then another really cool thing that we got to do is, so when it comes to polymer clay earrings, use cookie cutters. We buy normal cookie cutters, we buy specific cookie cutters that were bought off Etsy, and then we also really enjoy going thrifting. This was a past hobby that we usually always love to do, buy secondhand things, go to vintage shops, all that kind of thing. Well, another really great thing we got to start doing was buy vintage cookie cutters. Not only is this, reducing waste, being sustainable within our business, but it is also getting to find some really unique shapes to make earrings out of that other polymer clay artists cannot find. And that's another thing when it comes to polymer clay is when you're trying to decide your side hustle, it may not be the first time this thing is created. may not be the first idea. Like it won't be the first product. And if it is, that's amazing. But if it isn't, it's really important just to find what sets you apart, what's unique, what colors you mix, what shapes you create, what designs. That's really what's going to set you apart and make people come to you first.
Yeah, and like Allison said, one thing that we're really passionate about is, just creating a sustainable lifestyle and living a sustainable lifestyle. So that was one thing that's kind of cool for us in our business. Now we do have some new products, like some of the clay artists will actually 3D print their cutters. And so these are actually pretty cool. Some that we bought from another artist. And we actually use this shape a lot. And so, and maybe hopefully one day we'll actually be able to 3D print our own.
I'm currently learning how to do that, because since I go to ECU and they do have a 3D printer, I will soon be able to make my own cutters, which we have already made a few, but they're not great. It's a long process to learn how to make a little cookie cutter. You wouldn't imagine it would be, but it's actually harder than you think. I thought it was going to be pretty easy, but we're still in the learning process of making our own cutters.
But that's one way that we can be innovative and be sustainable in our business, because we're creating stuff that other makers may not be able to produce. And then one of the cool ones that we did for the fall was these little fondant cutters. You can't really see, but so again, just reusing materials, which is pretty cool. And so, like Allison was saying, one thing that we have to be just aware of is that there are other makers. And so we try really hard. We don't want to copy any other makers, copy any of their styles or their ideas, because that's really not what we're about. We want to create original, in essence, pieces of art. And so that's something that we try really hard to do. And then we kind of, make ourselves different in the way in which we use high quality materials. We use high quality jump rings and stainless steel, hypoallergenic metals. And then also like our packaging and stuff like that. So just kind of set ourselves apart. And one of the things that's so cool about polymer clay earrings is kind of how we got the idea in the first place, is that they're so lightweight. So I love statement earrings, obviously, and these are so lightweight you can't even feel them. And so I've worn some big earrings before and they've ripped my earlobes, and that is not a place you want to be, because once they rip, that's donezo. And so that's kind of where we're filling a need, and we're meeting a need, and not be fatigued.
And what's another wonderful thing is our target was, girls our age, in their 20s, teenagers, college girls, just young girls who love statement earrings. But a beautiful thing about it is a lot of our customers are older women that need those earrings that are extremely lightweight. And that has been a really wonderful discovery for us, because we never expected that. So to have so many women older than us that love our products, it's a really great feeling. I actually wanted to show you some of our earrings. So this is our best seller. It's a very neutral tan earring. So it's nothing, this one is nothing crazy, but since it is that neutral, that lightweight, it's just what people love. And that's another really good tip, is when you're practicing something and you're wanting to create a side hustle, make sure you find that one thing is really going to get you started, is really going to pick you up and people are going to love. And then we kind of start with a little crazier designs where we get to kind of be unique. So I can't really tell, but there's some really cool marbling in these. And then like I said, so if you didn't pay attention in art class in high school or middle school, yes, I've taught Morgan a lot about art. So I thought people paid attention, but they did not. These are primary colors, yellow, red, blue, and you create any color in the color wheel with these 3 colors. So another thing that gets to be really great about polymer clay is it's not hard not to copy other people, because you're creating your own colors, you're creating your own designs. So we get to do stuff like this. And then we've also brought in resin, which is what makes these so shiny. And there's some gold flakes in there. So just over time, we just kind of learned how to be different. So these look like real turquoise. You can't really tell here a little bit, but this was another great target area for people in the more Western style. Turquoise earrings are extremely expensive and not light at all. They can be very heavy because they're big rocks on your ears. So for my friends that are rodeoing, or just older women that stick to Western style, these were just key earrings for them, because that's what they wanted. They wanted an alternative to turquoise, because turquoise is expensive and it's heavy. So it's just really great that we can find alternatives for people for things they love. So, and then we also take custom orders, so we can mix any color. And that was another great way of getting business, is that we are very open to helping people. But there's lots of pros, but there's also lots of cons. I mean, we are sisters, so trust me, if we're already living together and now we run a business together, that's been a very interesting experience.
Interesting nights in our household.
Yes.
But it's good. It's fun at the end of the day. One of the parts that we like to do, we actually like to go to shows and be able to share our pieces with others. And so we did Girls Night Out on Main Street with Serendipity. We set up at the Refinery. That's on Broadway. They had a show, I guess it was last month. We've got 2 shows lined up for the rest of the year. So that's kind of what we enjoy. We really thrive on being around people and just being able to share our story and also, share our cute stuff with everybody else. And so one of the cool things, me and Allison, we actually got to set up at Arbuckle Craft Coffee with Kendall. He had a maker's market, and that was at the beginning of October. And we had a young girl. She came in early and she bought a pair of earrings. She's like, my mom is going to love these. She didn't have her ears pierced personally, but she got them for her mom for a gift. We were like so excited for her. And then a few hours later, in the afternoon, her mom actually walked in and we got to see her give her earrings to her mom. And her mom was pumped. She was so excited.
She was just the best reaction ever.
Yes, I thought Allison was going to cry.
I was sitting here like, I think I'm going to cry, because it was so awesome.
But it's just like,
to see someone love our work.
Exactly. And that's what, that's our whole thing, is that we like to create joy, and to be able to see that firsthand was really cool. And so, I mean, I think that our world can use more joy any way it can get it. And so if we can be a little part of that, that's really our goal.
Definitely. Yeah, that's where we really thrive, is events where we can really interact with the people, because when people see clay earrings, they think that maybe we're just, going home, playing with Play-Doh, putting them in cookie cutters and then posting them on Etsy. But really, it's just lots of sanding and buffing and a lot of focus and drilling for for the jump rings and connecting them. It's really just hours upon work, and being in person, being able to really tell someone about that and really, get into the conversation and see their interest in our work is a really amazing experience. And we do a lot better through events versus Etsy, because we truly are people. We love people. We love to talk to people. We love to share what we've created. We're proud of what we've created. So events are definitely where we love to be. Just sadly, it's 2020 in the middle of pandemic. So hopefully next year we'll have a lot more events to go to and share our work at. But we also really love local businesses. So being able to own our own handmade local business in Ada has really given us an opportunity to share other local people with other local handmade objects. So, and even if it's not local, just handmade things, because especially in this time where people just spend a bunch of money at companies, you see quotes where they say, no one at Walmart did a little dance when someone bought an item. Exactly. Where here we do a dance every time there's anything. I run to Morgan's room like, we got a new order, because it really is a great feeling, because we spend a lot of time on the time on those items. And we know it's the same for other makers. So it's a really great opportunity that we get to share other makers' work too. And hopefully soon we get to be in Serendipity and just get to share our work with other boutiques, and then hopefully get around Oklahoma. That's another cool thing, is each pair of earrings, each style is named after a town in Oklahoma. So we just kind of really want to appreciate Oklahoma and the makers within it.
Yeah. Dia, I see you've asked here, managing time and balance with full-time job, full-time student with a side business. It is a challenge. Unlike Trevor, we like to eat, so we make sure to schedule our meals. But I usually work in the evenings when I get home. I work Monday, Tuesday nights, and then Thursday nights, and then Sunday afternoons is usually dedicated to clay. I spend Wednesday night at church, as does Allison, and Sunday mornings we spend at church. And so we just make sure that we keep first things first, and keep time for those. And then, second comes our jobs, the ones that, we have our responsibility to. And then comes the side business, and then comes the earrings, because it's not all about the money for us. It's more about just being able to have a creative outlet, and while making money as well. That is nice. And so we just have to remember to keep that in the back of our mind and know that we want to keep this a side hustle, and it is a side hustle. So other things have to come first, which is kind of difficult sometimes, but that's just what we try to do. And then I'll make sure I've had to make sure to set an alarm at night so I don't stay up too late. Because when you get in the studio, we have a 3rd bedroom here at our house, which is actually perfect. That's where all of our clay stuff is. And so once I get in the studio, I've got, music going, or I'm watching a show, a movie, whatever. And there's many nights that look up and it's 12:30 at night. Well, I have to go to work next morning. So we make sure and keep time and, set timers. Okay, 11 o'clock at the most latest for me, I have to be done and in bed. And so just like those little things, time management, which I don't know that anybody is perfect at. If anybody is, please let me know. I'll take plenty of tips. But just making sure that we keep our priorities straight and just align everything to follow that.
Yeah, it's definitely a struggle. We will walk into the door and we'll work on clay for an hour, and then somehow it's not an hour, it's like 3 hours later. And we're like, where did the time go? There's not enough hours in the day, because we are just seriously trying to fit in so much into our schedule. But then, like I said, it's really like learning. We just learn every day a new tip, a new way. And we have some really hard conversations about that. We talk about, someone's going to do a little more work than the other person this week. So like if I have a big exam, Morgan's going to do more work than I, or she has a big project at work, I'm going to do a lot more work than Morgan that week. And we just really have learned that we can't keep, it's not a race. We're working together. And even though it's stressful and it's hard, we just remember how great the feeling is to see people enjoy our work, to be able to say this is ours, and to make something beautiful is way worth it. To stress a little and try to rework our schedules, it's definitely worth it. Yeah. I don't think we took some notes, but I think that possibly might be all we have for you. So if there's any questions, love to hear them.
Ladies, Pontotoc has a great 3D printing center. Pontotoc Technology Center has a great 3D lab. And I've been there for the last 4 months. So anything about 3D printing, I think I can help you a lot. But Pontotoc has some great people. And if you need any help on 3D printing, there is a very good resources available. So anytime you guys need something there, I live in Ada, and it'll be my pleasure to be of help any way I can be.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
We appreciate that. Yeah, it's definitely a part of it. It's a lot of teamwork. We've had a lot of people give us a lot of tips and a lot of help through this all, because like Morgan said, I'm just artsy. I'm in business school, but I do not know enough yet. That is for sure. So I can definitely create some earrings, but when it comes to the actual business, I do struggle. So Dina said, have you learned new skills, refined old skills, having worked on this business, skills that are also helping in other aspects of your life and job? So patience. I am one known to have terrible patience, and mostly with my sister. Just kidding. Yes. But really, earrings, I thought this would be a quick DIY. I could get a pair done in 5 minutes, no biggie. And then I learned that they have to bake for 30 minutes. And there's sanding involved, and I have to make more than one pair. I mean, there was a lot of realizations for me to learn that this was going to take a lot more time. And this has extremely helped me. I'm more patient with people. I'm more patient, go through a drive-through. I'm like, I know you're working hard. I know that these things take time, especially we try to order our jump rings and our extra supplies from other local businesses, because we want to also support other local, or not local, but handmade, local, all together. We want to support other people just like they're supporting us. So we've learned patience with shipping. Just all around, I have definitely improved on patience.
And for me, it's actually kind of made me more productive in my full-time job because I know that when I leave my full-time job, whether it's be 5 or 5:15, then I'm leaving that for the day because I have to go home and work my side hustle. And so now my evening time is not dedicated to, checking last minute emails or anything like that. So I've definitely had to prioritize and get better time management at my full-time job, which has actually been actually really good for me. And so being able to keep things on task.
Hey, this is Cody Tucker. I stole Marissa's Zoom, so I'm gonna ask you a question. What is your price point? I missed part of that, or maybe I don't know if you went over it, but kind of what is your price point? And then I have a follow-up question on that's why I'm asking.
Yes. So our price point, we struggle with that a lot because it's really difficult to price your own work, and especially to sell it to friends and family because you want to kind of, I think your tendency is to shoot low, and then we have a lot of people that are like, no, that's not enough, and we're like, thank you, okay, you're right. And so like the large pair that I'm wearing would be around $25.
So like larger, more intricate pairs that take a lot of time. Our highest is, I think even my highest, which was really hard for me, but I went 30 with my turquoise because it takes me a ton of time. And a lot of people say that's too much, or a lot of people say that's not enough. And that has been a big struggle of ours because we were raised to buy secondhand. We were raised to not really buy cheap, but to be careful with what we buy and be careful with our money and not spend too much. So we were really just raised to not buy overpriced things. So in our heads, we're like, that's too much money. But truly, when you sit down and think, we're probably under. We're probably not charging as much as we can, but that's just what we're comfortable at this moment because we really struggle from asking for money from people. We give a lot of discounts. We give a lot of oh, it's this much, but we totally lied because we struggle taking money from other people.
And that's why it's a side hustle and not a full-time gig.
Yeah.
And that's what I was going to ask, is because since you are kind of hand making it versus, let's say, a competitor who's, maybe using machine automation, if you've kind of thought about doing maybe two price points, maybe you have like a more local price point for products, and then you have like a high-end product, like the pair that you showed that you try to get into, like high-end boutiques, where it's $200, $300, $400, $500 maybe. I didn't know if you maybe thought of that route versus just staying in the $20. But like I said, since they are handmade and they are taking a lot of time, I do think that is worth the price, and maybe something that people would latch onto, especially if there's a story behind each pair that they're buying versus where they go to Walmart and they just bought a pair of earrings that were mass produced, and there's 1,000 of them that are just the same. Each one of yours, I think, are probably going to be unique since they're handmade. So maybe just keep in mind that that you might be able to get a higher end price, and not be afraid to try that.
I agree. We actually, for the first time, bought gold-filled jump rings, which, if you don't know anything about gold, it's brass, gold-plated, gold-filled, and real gold. And gold-filled jump rings last a good while. They do not tarnish very fast. But those were expensive, and you can't get them in bulk. You can't get them in large bulk, especially buying from people off Etsy who are also making these with their hands. So it is difficult to, we've thought about that. We're like, wow, we've spent a little bit more money on gold rings, this time around. Should we heighten our prices? Or maybe we need to, sell gold plated earrings with, a cheaper price point than our gold filled jump rings. So we definitely have considered that. We do need to do more research on it. I've seen Polymer Clay artists post pictures and videos where it's like, this is the labor, this is the supplies, these are all the prices. Now you need to figure out what your price point is. So we definitely need to focus on that and figure what that is.
I think so too, that as we gain more and more experience, I think that we'll be more comfortable with asking a higher price point. Because I think right now we're just kind of a little bit naive and still a little bit hesitant
Testing the waters.
Exactly, testing waters. But like Allison said, as the more we learn of, the better materials to use and different things like that. So I think it's just going to be a process of, just as learning. And then also another question on here, I think the question was expanding outside of jewelry, or I'm sorry, expanding outside of earrings. We don't have any plans currently to expand outside of earrings. Polymer clay is interesting to kind of work with. And so I think right now we're just interested in earrings. I personally only wear earrings, but I've seen some artists make rings that are really cool, especially with the faux turquoise style and technique. And so I think that could potentially be a sustainable option for us. But right now we're just kind of enjoying doing what we're doing.
And definitely like dainty little earrings are super trendy right now. So there's definitely, necklaces, little necklaces. So it's definitely an option. It's all about time right now though, especially because we create a new earring, but then you need to make 10 pairs of that earring or 15 pairs of that earring because we're going to sell it on Etsy. We're going to sell it to ladies at the bank. We take earrings to the bank and ladies buy at the bank. We're going to sell them at events. So it's not just bulk for Etsy, it's our bulk for events, family and friends, and then Etsy. So, or not in that order specifically, but so it's really hard to make multiple earrings of the same earring, especially since they're handmade and they're unique. And it's just really hard to mock one pair of earrings. So, and the same color, because color matching, it's not like paint where you swirl the colors together and there's the color. It's with your hands, you're creating this color and you're trying to create a large amount of this color. That time and the color matching actually takes a lot of time.
We have a few more minutes if anybody has any questions before we get into the next half of the agenda for today. Morgan, Allison, I did want to ask, I mean, you've mentioned talking about, being partners as sisters and roommates. What is that like? Give us an insight into what does that life look like?
I don't know if you want to know that look.
It's a lot of learning.
It's
for sure.
Like I said, it's communication. We had a big discussion the other day about we both have to get better at communicating. And so communicating, because we can't just assume that the other knows how we're feeling and then get upset because of it or anything like that. And so we have a pretty good schedule. My schedule does not change because I'm a little bit older than Allison. And a little bit more set in my ways. So my schedule is pretty consistent, which is helpful. Allison's changes a little bit more. So I just have to learn to kind of ebb and flow with that. And then I don't know, it's difficult some days because, the laundry will pile up or the dishes will pile up and we think it's the other one's fault. And so I think it just goes back to communication and then also just being able to celebrate being sisters and being partners and being roommates. And so we have to stop and have a dance party every once in a while, or I have to force Allison to give me a hug and show her affection. And so it's a fun time. It's a little bit crazy time. I'm glad nobody else is here to experience some days.
It's definitely a learning process because Morgan will be gone from 8 to 5 and I'll be gone, for class. I'll be gone from 8 to 11. And then I won't go to class. I won't go to work till 3 or, I'm here broken up throughout the day. So Morgan doesn't see what I'm doing and I don't see what Morgan's doing during the day. So when we have to remember to respect each other and remind each other that we are both working together. We're just not seeing it. So if I worked at earrings for 3 hours and then the laundry didn't get done, we just assume laundry didn't get done, we didn't do anything. But we have to remember that we have a side hustle. So it's really hard to get little tasks around the house done, but also earrings, and to also respect that each other are doing these at different times. And it's been a learning process, as sisters, there's been the past where we want to tear each other's hair out, but in a business meeting, can't exactly do that. Be a little more professional. So it's been a really funny experience, learning, okay, we're going to have a business meeting tonight. It's like, okay, so, we get our computers and our notebooks out and we start acting like we're not sisters. Is a really weird feeling. So it's definitely been a different experience being business partners, but plus sisters.
But it's been good though.
Once again, it's been a really great experience. and remembering that we are sisters, and a really amazing thing that we've been able to come together and create something.
Awesome. I think that's a great answer. And just, when you're working in a side business, often your partners or the people you're working with may be friends and families, and to kind of learn keeping that balance is a great skill to have. Well, Morgan and Allison, thank you so much for your presentation, and we really appreciate you taking the time to talk about your business, and we are so excited for your goals moving forward. So can we please have a round of applause for the Oklahoma Blondies?
Thank you so much for having us.
Awesome. So for the rest of the evening, we really this is a new event that we've kind of launched, and we're kind of seeing what it's going to be like depending on what people want to get value from it. So I figured if we could go do kind of like a quick pitch of all the people who are on the call, if you're comfortable either talking about any side business you're already having, or something that you had an idea for and you're looking at. Or if you just have any questions for our speakers for today, it's really, really an open floor. Don't make me call people out, please. Please volunteer and let us know if you're working on any business or any idea that you've had. We just really like to open it up for discussion at this point.
Okay, I'll go, Dia. But okay, so the business that I am working on and plan to make a side hustle is to provide care packages for students that are having to quarantine, which is becoming more of a need as the rates are increasing at this moment. And I want to do that to provide them with over-the-counter medical items, some support, and then some activities and motivational messages that they can have whilst they're in quarantine. So I plan to do that very soon. It's going to be up on the ECU Campus Store website, the bookstore website. Kind of have it on there, but it's just hidden. I just want to get some better product pictures, and it will be up very soon.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing, and congrats, Freddie, on being one of the top finalists for the Big Pitch. It was great listening to your presentation last week.
Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else?
I guess I'll go. I'm Marissa Tucker. I currently have been working for Ada Main Street for the last, 4 months. Before that, I had started a business, Tucker's Tulips. I do a large U-pick of tulips that people visit in the spring, and then that flourished into landscaping, into bulb planting, into local eucalyptus sales, local flower sales. My goal is sustainability for our economy, definitely on a local level, but as far as statewide, nationwide, I believe that we do need to support these local businesses. I have made it my pact and creed to first and foremost shop local and buy my things as sustainably as possible. I love that Oklahoma Blondies mentioned that in reselling, shopping resales and vintage finds and stuff like that. There are so many products that go wasted and not reused because we live in this fast world. If I can get it on Amazon, I can get it here, there, and then we just toss these items aside. And I think that it's so cool that you guys had touched on that. But I guess in short, Tucker's Tulips is my side hustle for the most part.
Thank you, Marissa. I love how, many of these businesses are really just solving local problems that, the community just needs a solution for. I think that's great. Anyone else? Naresh, Pat, I know you guys have also been involved in some of our events, and we'd love to hear what you're up to.
I was just going to say to Fredisha, over the years, different organizations on campus have at times sold care packages. And, to get a little exposure, that might be something you may want to look at. I know the Business Club was one. I think the Coral Group was another. And they just ordered them from a private company and sold them. So that you might have some interest in that as the semester comes to an end, and and be able to reach the parents to get them to, give something for their kids, not so much out of COVID, but just a little pick me up at the end of the semester.
Yes, definitely. By the business club, do you mean the Business Leaders Association?
Yes, but long time ago, it was the
Oh,
business
okay.
club. I don't remember, I think Tom Lannis kind of headed that up, and they did it 2 or 3 years. And in a couple of years, they just put their own packages together. And, but they were able to, reach the parents and made a little money that way.
Yes, thank you.
So even if you didn't want to go through a club, you may could get a mailing address from the school or something like that. Maybe even emails.
Yeah, I plan to go through emails initially, student emails.
Mm-hmm.
But thank you.
Sure.
From my side, I would like to add that I like the everybody is thinking ADA, everybody is thinking local. And that I think is a very important point which I would like to bring out. In fact, everybody here is talking about buying local, selling local, or using local resources, and that has been my focus also in building my product at PTC. I've had the I've been fortunate to be able to use the facility we have here at PTC and shorten the development cycle for my product from about 2 years to about 6 months and less than 6 months. So we are hoping that we'll be able to launch the first set of products for our Kickstarter campaign by December, and that is mostly because of the ADA community and PTC, ADA Jobs Foundation, ECU providing a lot of support and providing me with a lot of knowledge which I was lacking about 6 months back. So I'm very thankful to the ADA community, and I see that a lot of people here have their focus on that, and that is very encouraging. So thank you, guys.
That's great, Naresh. Thanks for sharing. So I think we've had a chance to hear from some of the things you guys are working on, and really, if we have any other questions for from our speakers today on how they kind of do their job of managing side hustling and a full-time job, or even being a student, please feel free to shout it out now. And we can also just kind of get some feedback as to what you guys would like to see for the next meetup, if there's anything specific that you would like to see. Trevor, I'm just reading your message. Was there anything you wanted to share?
Nah, well, I'll go ahead and say it, I guess. So, I just want to shout out to Allison Edwards over there and just say that, it's cool. I get to teach a class at East Central University, and it's just one finance class. And one of the things we talk about is careers. And, now I get to approach it from this perspective, right, in entrepreneurship, and talk to them a little bit about how they can find something they're passionate about and really do this, even as a side hustle or in the long term as a career. So it's cool to be able to instill that in college students today. So anyway, shout out to Allison for already being in that venture that you're in. So
thank you. Yeah, I agree. With entrepreneurship being a very young, thing to study, it's not as popular as accounting or marketing. I think it's very important to make students realize that is also just as important. That is just as important career that can be made. So thank you. I appreciate that. I hope to see more and more entrepreneurship students come along because I think it's a really great thing to study. And thanks.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you both for sharing that. Okay, with that, again, I just want to say thank you to everyone who joined the call today. Our speakers, participants, is something new we are trying to kind of experiment with and just try to spur more innovation and entrepreneurial thinking in the community. So definitely appreciate you all. Let us know if there's something specific you would like to see, for the next meetup, or if there's any topic we can touch on. But with that, we have another event lined up this week on Wednesday morning at 9 for Global Entrepreneurship Week. It's the Community Entrepreneurship Hour, and we actually have two startups who are not from the Ada area. One is from Denver, and one is from based in Tulsa right now. So it'll be some interesting perspectives to hear how these companies, which are a little tech oriented and high growth, how they've started and what they're doing. So I hope you all can join us. I'll put the link in. But with that, thank you all for joining, and enjoy your evening.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.